Good evening and salutations, my GH fans. Okay, let's start off with Christina and Natalia because, first of all, I'm looking at this scene and I'm just like, what are you doing? Right? You're not that long from your due date, right? And one of the things that Molly and TJ has been sitting there telling her is practically not to really get yourself into stressful situations. And yet you run over to Natalia to sit there and give her a riot act like this is not going to be a stressful situation. Now, with that being said, right, she goes in on her, right? And she's all like, I can't believe you did this. You know, you don't really love your daughter. Your love to your daughter is very I don't want to sit there and say subjective, but it's like I don't exactly remember how she did it, but basically she was like, your love comes with limitations. So she's just going off on her. And eventually Natalia is like, the only reason I actually let you go that far is out of respect for your father, right? And here's the thing. Natalia talks about how, you know, she grew up in a different time and that type of stuff was just kind of ingrained in her as far as why she's not, we'll just sit there and say, supportive of the LGBT, right? And Christina says something that is very questionable, right? Because on one hand, she's like, you know, you're choosing to be a bigot, right? But Natalia's like, this is something that was ingrained in me. You know, I grew up in a different time period. I don't know if it's it's hard to sit there and say it's a choice. It's hard to sit there and say it's a choice. I feel like in some ways it's very easy for you to sit there and say that if you're somebody that grew up in a different time period and you are accepting of that lifestyle. It's a lot different than sit there and tell somebody who is a lot older than me, well, I think you should sit there and accept them because of da 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 and this, that, and the third, right? I didn't grow up in a time period, let's sit there and say that my parents did. So my time period was more of love is love and it is what it is. So part of me is like, I don't know if she can just easily say that. Now, again, the problem with this whole Natalia thing is not so much as the fact that she's uncomfortable and she has all these thoughts or whatever, right? It's the fact that the stuff that she said was very offensive. And that's the problem. It's not so much like, okay, she's not comfortable, that's fine. But your lack of respect is the issue. And so, Christina is more angry about, how she, how her daughter is being affected. I don't know what to sit there and say to that. Because yeah, those are some very hurtful things that shouldn't have got out, right? Shouldn't have got out. That's just something that, but to be fair, on some level, she's like, well, she wasn't supposed to sit there and hear. You're talking to somebody else. What makes you think at some point you don't know Ava from a hole in the wall? And this is another part that's just stupid. Let's just sit there and say, for the sake of argument, she didn't record it. Well, you have some idea who Ava is. Why would you sit there even be talking about this to somebody else? Like, why would you do that? So on some sort of level, it's like, so she says what she says, and one of the things that she said was like about the whole flighty thing, and she meant She was like, "Oh well, I was practically talking about you," and then of course he talk about the baby and everything, and this is where Natalia just starts to like miss the mark, because she talks about how she's practically flighty, and maybe giving up a child for you is easier than me, and it's like you don't really even understand why she's doing what she's doing. You're not. Her argument is not really making a lot of sense. So like, I feel like after a while, it's like maybe this scene just went on a little bit too long. Now, Maxie and Brooklyn are still talking strategy. And one of the things that Maxie Smith is saying is that maybe Blaze should take a break from deception. Not get, um, get fired, just take a break. But wouldn't that look just as bad as if you would have sat there and fired her on some level? I don't see it being that much better. Now Blaze does come in and she apologizes for her mother. She apologizes for something that she shouldn't have to apologize for, which was staying in the closet. And then she practically is like, "I quit." They're like, "No, that's not going to happen. We're not gonna do that." But then Maxie was like, "But here's the thing. While we don't want you to quit, maybe you can sit there and just take a break just until the fall." But then she got a text from her phone basically saying that the label dropped her. So I look at this and I'm like, this is Ava's and Natalia's fault, right? Because yours was the words that actually sat there and said that to sink her career. You worked so hard and was so nasty to so many people to sit there and try to get to her to where she is now. And all that work because of your nasty, judgmental, and prejudiced comments. So half of that is on you. And of course, the other half is on Ava. And of course, at some point, Blaze goes back to Christina's place, or maybe back to her place. I think because she's living in a hotel. No, it was Christina's place, and tells her that the label dropped her. That sucks. Now, I'm just gonna sit there and say this. I miss when Jordan used to actually be in exciting scenes, and I get that not every scene is going to be like, "Oh my goodness, this is so amazing." But like, she's just been in some boring ass scenes with Drew talking about his campaign that I'm going to be honest, I don't think that anyone generally cares about. I don't think that a lot of fans actually care about him running for congressman, unless there's going to be some sort of drama that comes along with it. Also, he changed his last name to Quartermain. Okay, great. Um, but they start off with just like this really boring ass conversation. They bring up the opponent that's supposed to be going up against her. And so far, she doesn't even seem like she's going to be, like, if they actually do show her, she's going to be that great. Because the only thing they sit there and say about her opponent is that she is doing it for herself. She's egocentric and everything like that. I'm just like, damn. Can she be a little bit more than that, though? Like, kind of a scumbag a little bit? Anyway, you talk about that. Curtis comes over. He thanks Curtis for stepping up. And at some point, he's going to have to sit there and tell his daughter, which, why he didn't tell her yet is just beyond me, but whatever. He also didn't sit there and tell Sam, I don't think. And again, I don't really understand why. Or maybe she does know. I have no idea. Honestly, tell you the truth, these days for Sam, it's just like, it's just kind of a headache to sit there and see her in the scene. Damn near any scene, to be honest. Um, Now Nina comes in there and Nina tells Drew about the fact that they're holding the story for about 24 hours to kind of get things sorted out. Um, and at first, she thought that Drew was going to be upset with like the money and the scoop and everything like that, but he was like, "Nah, in this situation, it's right." Also, Blade, I mean, not Blaze, Brooklyn and Max, you were sitting there reading some of the comments, and they were just god awful. They called them trolls, and I don't even know if trolls is actually a justification for that. But, like, even I think yesterday or the day before, when we first read some of those comments, they were just, oof, they were bad. Like, they were really bad. It's kind of like you see trolls in comment sections or whatever. I've seen trolls in my comment sections. I've seen trolls in my live streams, right? And I've seen trolls in my live stream that says some god awful things. Um, and it could just suck in general. It could really suck. Um, Me, it doesn't stop me from what I'm doing, but they're not exactly nice to sit there and read. Uh, Joselyn and Dex. Part of me just doesn't care at this point. Like, I was trying to think of something nice to say. I mean, yes, they're getting back to the place that they were. That's great. Um, and once again, she recognizes the changes that he's doing, and Dex is like, I don't want to sit there and rush this or whatever. It's like, rush what? I mean, honestly, tell you the truth, if you broke up over something that was really stupid, you did change to sit there and become a cop. I don't think you're really rushing anything. You're just getting back to that place that you were at, or just getting back into being in a relationship, which in all reality, I don't see it as that much of an obstacle. I really, really don't. The only thing that was a problem was his employee that he was working for. And now he's working for the good guys. Why are we still talking about slowing down for her? You didn't slow down when you first got into a relationship. You practically sat there and said that you loved each other like damn near about like under a year or something. So I don't really understand what's this whole now we want to start slowing stuff down. So Trina sees a book, an art book by Spencer, and she starts to get a little emotional. And Gio comes in, and this is the first time that we got a little bit of depth from Gio, which was actually nice. It's like, oh yeah, I forgot that Gio can actually do depth every now and then. Just talking about his mother doesn't sit there and say how she died, but just that she was a music teacher and that her instrument was, violin. And you can tell, like in his voice, that it still hurts him. What's amazing about that, I would sit there and say, is that his mother was really into music, and he's still affected a little bit by his mother's death, but it didn't turn him off of music. I feel like that could just go in the exact opposite. Like, I never want to sit there and listen to music, hear music ever again. It's just so much. It's so much trauma around that. But the fact that he still didn't let that, I guess, sour his taste for music is pretty good and pretty admirable. And of course, Trina talks about Spencer and art and places that they want to go and stuff. Now, there's a point where Gio is doing something, and Trina comes in and she just starts randomly singing, and I'm just like, am I watching like a Disney movie or a Disney show? Like, it just seemed like it just came out of nowhere, right? So it was just kind of odd. I mean, don't get me wrong, she has a nice voice, but it was just kind of odd. But then I sat there and I thought about it. And I thought about all the different storylines they could actually do, and the fact that she can sing. So she can sing, he likes music, you can kind of see where this is going. Um, I guess they're going to be the new four Musketeers or whatever. I don't know when that stuff happened. That was a little bit before my time. Like, I was around for Gia, for Gia. I'll sit there and say that. In the last scene, it's with Sunny and Dante. The minute that Dante walks in, he's like, "What can I do for you, officer?" I'm like, "We're like we're still on that," but then I keep saying that they have to remember that he is not all the way there on his medication. So they talk about Blaze, Christina for a little bit, talk about Ava, and just how much he's going to retaliate against her. And of course, one of the things he said that the reason why she did what she did out of jealousy. Didn't invite Ava, invited Natalia. Now, of course, Ava must have lost her damn mind and she actually thought she was going to be invited to a wedding with a family member that she killed. Like, on what planet did she think that was actually going to work? So, Sonny's like, oh, well, she did that out of retaliation for Natalia and for Christina. He's like, I'm gonna get her. I'm gonna get her. And Dante's like, you can't do this. Okay? If you do that, what's gonna happen to Avery? Oh, it'll be the best thing for Avery. You do that, and again, he's like, if you do that, you make this move, you're gonna lose. You're gonna lose Avery. You're gonna lose her, and she's gonna be sitting there just waiting for you to do something stupid. You gotta be better than that. But of course, yeah, exactly. Not fully on his medication, so he's just thinking revenge, and he also gets defensive with Dante. So it's just one of those conversations that seems like it's just going on deaf ears. At one point, he was like, "Okay, you can leave. I'm gonna throw you out or whatever." And Dante's just like, "I've been shot. Like again, probably like the third time. Let's not do this." And of course, probably one of the times he got shot was, of course, by Sonny. Um. Anyway, I feel like that's pretty much about it. I can't think of anything else. But if I forgot anything, you know what to do. Come to the live stream tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. We'll talk about all the shows. Um, General Hospital, Days of Our Lives, Bold and Beautiful, Young and Restless. I'll see you in the next video.